because it's easy for you to get a job,
Right.
irrespective of where you are. And it's more easy for you to maneuver your way around. I mean, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like changing locations, everywhere you go, you can basically get a job in nursing.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Japaki. If this is the first time you are joining me on this channel, you are most welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, I so much appreciate you. I have here with me Rebecca, a registered nurse in the UK, and she's going to take us through all that we need to know about being a registered nurse in the UK without any background in nursing. So she's going to tell us about what we need to have with regards to the skills. She's going to let us know the cost, whether there's any financial help, and she'll let us know how long it will take for us to, get that kind of certification as a registered nurse in the UK. So if this is something you are interested in, then just stay right here with me as we go through all that. So Rebecca, you are welcome to Every Mom's Hub.
Thank you very much for having me, and hi to Jabaki's fans.
Right, you're welcome. Yeah. So
Thank
before we
you.
go on, Rebecca is also a YouTuber and she provides content mostly on nursing. So you should definitely go there and check out her channel and also subscribe to her channel. So Rebecca, some of us come to the UK as dependents of
Yeah.
maybe a skilled worker, and we come here with different profession. For instance, I was an architect back home in Ghana. And coming to the UK, you get here and you realize that it's quite tough getting a job in your area. And you realize that nursing is something that is um, basically everywhere, wherever you live, regardless of where you live, you are able to, get a job in nursing. Unlike something like architecture, where if you find yourself in a remote place, you may not get the job. It's not available in remote places. It's much more in, bigger cities and all that. So if I want to be a nurse without any background in nursing, what is the process that I have to go through? So first of all, is it possible without any background in nursing? I didn't study science back home in Africa. Is it possible for me to be a nurse in the UK, to train towards a nurse?
Right. Thank you very much for your question. One thing I'd like to say is that healthcare in general, and especially nursing, is a job that you can easily find everywhere
Right.
in the world, and especially in the United Kingdom. Although it's not something that some people would want to go into, but now a lot of people are going into it because it's easy for you to get a job,
Right.
irrespective of where you are, and it's more easy for you to maneuver your way around. I mean, in
Hmm.
terms of like changing locations, everywhere you go, you can basically get a job in nursing. And so it's
Right.
something that people are now developing an interest in. But if you don't want to do it, I mean, you shouldn't go for it. But if you have the interest, that's the first step of
Hmm.
going into nursing. You should be passionate about it. You should have the interest in going into
Right.
nursing, because I tell you what, nursing can have a toll on your life. It's very, very stressful. It's
I-
involving, but it's something also that if you do and you get to love it, and the appreciation actually that people have, or the kind of
Mhm.
impact you make in people's life, is what actually makes you very fulfilled and happy. And I think it's something that if you have the interest in, is good, you can go for it. So
Yeah.
yes, you can go into nursing even if you don't have a nursing background, or even if you don't
Right.
have any health background at all. It's
Okay.
possible you can go into nursing, yes. And in the UK, it takes you 3 years to have a degree in nursing, unlike back in Africa. So here it's only 3 years and you have your degree in nursing. So here they don't have the diploma in nursing at all. It's just
Okay.
straight degree. And then after degree, you can specialize or you can do your master's, and then you can advance your career.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I don't have to have any form of, background. And doesn't matter what you've done, maybe in your high school, or it doesn't really matter.
So it doesn't really matter. Once you are happy to do the course, you can go in as far as you have a high school certificate, or even if you have a degree in another field and you are
Mhm.
only happy to start afresh,
Right.
you can start afresh, and it takes you 3 years.
Okay.
But
Oh,
the only thing is that if you are from overseas and you are in the UK and you don't have your indefinite leave to remain or a British citizenship, it means you're going to be schooling as an international student, even if you're dependent. Yes.
okay.
So with that, most of the institutions will require you to write IELTS, which is International English Language Testing Systems. So you need to write IELTS, and I think the minimum score is a band 6 to be eligible to have admission into the nursing schools.
Okay. Although you are in the UK,
Yes,
you still need that, you know,
yes,
requirements.
yeah.
Okay.
Because you're
Right.
in the UK, but you are not a citizen, you don't have your indefinite leave to remain. You are a
Okay.
dependent or you are on any other category of visa. So you are
Mhm.
here as a foreign trade, and you need
Right.
to prove that you can effectively communicate in the English language.
Definitely.
You need to
Definitely.
write IELTS.
Definitely. Okay. All right. Okay. And is there any support? You know, the fees and all that. Is there any support, financial, you know, help when it comes to getting the fees? You know, and how much is it? Do you have any idea
Yeah.
roughly how much it costs? You know.
Okay, so with the fees, because if you are on any category of visa other than indefinite leave to remain or British citizenship, you are classified as an international student, as I've said earlier. So you're going to be paying the international student fee. And the last time
Okay.
I checked, the average for that is £15,000.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes. So £15,000. But if you have your indefinite leave to remain or your British citizenship, is about £9,000. And with that, sometimes the government, if you have your British citizenship, the government can give you loan to,
Mm-hmm.
further go for the school. Then when you finish, they will take that loan little by little when you begin to work. But if you don't
Okay.
have the British citizenship or the indefinite to remain, you can apply for scholarship or grant. And if you are lucky, you can get maybe 100% scholarship, 50%, 30%, or just something to support you.
And will you also qualify for student loan?
No, with that, you don't qualify for student loan. If you are an international student, you don't qualify for student loan.
Okay, so but then if you are on the indefinite leave or
Yes,
citizenship, you would
you
be
can take
able.
the student loan. Yeah,
Okay, right.
because when you are on any other category of visa, there are some visa restrictions that
Mhm.
you are on, and one of them is public fund. So you don't have access to public fund, and student loan is one of the public funds, so they can't
Right.
give you a student loan. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, okay. So, what are some of the courses that um is likely? I mean, you're likely to learn or to as you know a nursing student, because as I
yeah,
said, without a background in nursing, do you do lots of science stuffs, or I mean, when it
yes.
comes to nursing?
So
Because
with
if
the
you haven't
nursing,
studied any science, you don't know anything, you know, what do you do?
yeah. To be honest with you, none of us, like me, I wasn't a science student. Even though I did my nursing back home, I wasn't a science student. I was an art student, and then I went into science. But because they start you from the very basic, so your first year is going to be like the foundation or the fundamentals of nursing. So they take you step by step. They teach you the biology, the physics, the chemistry, the anatomy, understanding the human system, the structure, and how everything works. So that's how they start you from. Then little by little, you begin to go into pharmacology and a bit more complex things that are, pertains to nursing. So it's not difficult and it's not easy at the same time,
Right.
but it is theory and practical put together. So you do the theory in class, and then you have a period that you go into clinical or what they call the placement. So you go into the wards, and then you see the physical thing that is being done on the ward, and then you have instructors on the ward, which we call the practice assessors, who score you based on, how your clinical skills are being developed. So it's not just
Okay.
about being in the classroom, you also go into the wards to learn. And we have, in the UK, we have basically 4 categories of nursing that they have as the fundamental. So you have the general nursing or the adult nursing, you have the pediatric nursing, you have the midwifery, and they have the mental health nursing or the psychiatric nursing. So before you go into nursing, you have to decide which one of these you want to go into. Because when you go into one, leaving to go into another requires a different, process. If you want
Okay.
to go into the adult nursing or the general nursing, when you finish, you can advance to become a whole lot of specialties. Likewise, when you're in the mental health, you can also advance. So whichever field you start from, you can advance in that field. But because
Oh,
you're going
okay.
to
So
do,
you start straight. So you start straight from the, if you're doing, let's say, mental nursing, then that means that you're going to start right from the beginning. You know that this is where I'm heading towards. It's not like
yes,
you do a general nursing, then after that you go and specialize in mental, health. You start
no.
right
So you
from,
start from the mental health straight away.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
in case you do the adult nursing and later I want to do the mental health nursing, you would need to do top-up courses to
Okay.
be able to branch into that field.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So, since you've worked in nursing, or you're still working in nursing, how is the pay like? Is it worth it?
Yeah, well, one thing is that back home, our pay structures were the same in regards to the fact that if you are with somebody on the same level, you all are paid the same. Okay, so I mean, based on your rank, you know how much you are being paid, and all the colleagues in that rank are also being paid the same. In the
Mhm.
UK, it's a little bit different with respect that if you are in the NHS and you are in a band, wherever you are paid the same except from London. So London rate is a bit higher
Okay.
than the other areas of UK because of the cost of living, obviously in London. So they give that London allowance.
Okay.
But if you are in the care home, it is different because the care home is private owned. They are not paid as the NHS nurses. So the care home pays more than NHS. And
Okay.
also, no two nurses in the care home are paid the same. You can be the same rank with somebody, but probably they bargained for their salary. You
Okay.
didn't bargain. So maybe they'll post an advert and say that this job advert, we are paying up to £25 per hour. In the care home, you are paid per hourly rate, not like in the NHS where you are paid per annum. Okay.
Okay.
So if they say up to £25 per hour, that means that the highest mark is 25. They can pay you 18. They can pay you 19, depending on your experience and your skills.
Mhm.
Somebody can come and bargain for their salary and add their skills and they'll be paid the 25. Two people for the same job, the other person may not have the necessary skills and may not even bargain and they'll give the person 18. So you are the same, you are working in the same field, the same home, but you are not paid the same. So salary wise, nursing has never been a good paying job, which everybody knows. But I feel when you work hard, you
Mhm.
can make it because here there are avenues that
Right.
support you. If you want to do overtime, there are lots of overtime. We have
Mhm.
the agency nursing, we have the bank shift, we have the hot shift, we have a lot of things you can specialize, and the more you go higher, the more your salary.
Right.
So the startup will not be great, especially if you're at the NHS. But with, maximize your income through doing other shifts, bank, overtime, agency, and all of those bits. It can supplement your income. And I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Well,
Mhm.
I work in a care home now. I used to work in
Okay.
the NHS. Now I work in a care home, and the difference is very wide.
Right.
So I wouldn't say nursing is bad in terms of salary. It isn't bad. It also all boils down to how you live your life.
Mm.
If you live within your means, you'll be happy.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't appreciate nursing.
Okay. And which one is more flexible, working with the NHS or working in the care home? Which one is,
They both have their pros and cons. I've shared a
right.
lot on my channel. They
Right.
both have their pros and cons. In the
Mm.
care home, the career progression is not like in the NHS, and gaining skills in the care home is not like the NHS. In the NHS, you see more, you learn more, you are more
Mhm.
exposed to equipment and gadgets. You learn
Right.
a lot. And if you want to progress in the career, you can move from band 4, 5, 6, like that. But in the care home, it's mostly managerial. So if you want to progress from just being a nurse, you just only have one option, that is going into the managerial role, which is being a care home manager or a deputy manager or an instructor, just teaching the nurses or the carers. Yeah, teaching them basically. By the
Okay.
NHS, it's got more in terms of skills. But salary wise or monetary wise, the care home pays much more. So they both have their pros and cons. And somebody will prefer to be in the NHS because of A, another person will prefer to be in the care home because of A. And you can always move. If you're in the NHS, you don't like it, you can go to the care home. If you're in the care home, you don't like it, there is no restriction. You can move anywhere and anyhow you want. However,
Oh,
if you are a midwife or a pediatric nurse, those people do not work in the care homes. They only work in the NHS. So the care home
okay.
is basically for the general nurses or the adult nurses and then the mental health nurses.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And I know some people also work in the community instead of being maybe in a care home or in the hospital. They are in the communities. Do you get to choose or is it something that is assigned to you? And can you also decide that I only want to work in the community instead of being at the hospitals or in the wards?
One beauty of being a nurse in the UK is that there is flexibility for you to choose where you want to work. So
Right.
when you finish school, when you finish your training, you have the option to choose where you want to work. As far
Okay.
as your skills or your qualification meets that area, yes, you
Mhm.
can choose. So somebody can finish as an adult nurse and decide never ever to work in a ward. They want to work in a community. And straight away, you can start looking for community nursing jobs. And then you go into community and then you develop from there. So yes, you can move anywhere you want to move. Once you meet that qualification, yes, you can do it.
Okay, okay, okay. Right. That's that's great. That's good to know. So, what are some of the challenges when it comes to, being a nurse in the UK? Obviously, you've worked in Africa and this place. So, what are some of the challenges? And what's the difference also working here and then working back home? What are the differences, when it comes to,
Oh
nurse?
my goodness, the differences are quite huge. I can go on and on and on. With the
Mm,
differences, the first thing comparing, okay, now I'm comparing between Africa and here, is equipment. Here, there are a lot of equipment that you will never ever see in Africa. Yeah, because I worked in Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which is a premier hospital. And when I came to
really?
the UK, I felt like I have never been a nurse. I worked in Africa for 8 years. And
Wow.
when I came here, I felt like I've never worked as a nurse before. You
Mm.
have to humble yourself to learn because most of the things we read them in books in Africa, but we never get to see them.
Oh.
So here the equipment, oh my God, is vast. Even if you were trained in the UK, once
Mhm.
you move to another trust or another NHS hospital, there are some things you see there that you wouldn't have seen. Or even
Okay.
when you change ward, when you move from a surgical ward to a medical ward, you're going to learn afresh. So it is a continuity of learning. Learning
Mm.
here in the UK is a learning process you will never finish. You have to be
Right.
open minded and be able or open to continuous development in your profession. So here
Mm.
you are always learning, and you have
Mm.
like online courses that you do every year. It's renewable. If you don't do them, you can't practice. You have to
Mm.
renew your license every year. I mean, so
Okay.
it's a lot here. Also, here the paperwork. My goodness, here there is a lot of paperwork in the UK. You know, back home
Mm.
we just do our basic nursing and we do our nursing job. We
Mm.
document anyways, but it's not here. Every little thing you have to document because of the legal issues surrounding the care and the fact that somebody can literally just take you to court and you will
Mm.
get struck off the NMC register. Your PIN will be taken away from you. There's been a
Wow.
lot of instances around people around me, quite a lot, who almost lost their PIN, and it's not easy.
Mm.
Yeah. So here the documentation is quite a lot. And also here when you're working, you have to be extra careful because
Right.
almost everything is an abuse. There are some things that we used to do in Africa, you go scot-free, but here if you do them, it's an abuse.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So a friend of mine worked in one hospital where another nurse went to restrain a patient. He saw it, but he didn't make any comment. When they raised safeguarding against the lady who restrained the patient, they raised against my friend also. And they
Oh.
both went to court.
Wow.
So the lady was struck off from the NMC register, but my friend was suspended for 2 weeks. He wasn't made to work. So here it's easy for you to lose your license, so you have to be
Mm.
extra careful.
Very careful.
But
Mm.
with the continuous support of colleagues and people that are above you, and with learning and development, I think you would make it. You will sail through
Right.
without any problems. Yeah. So the difference are quite a lot, but this is the only thing I can talk about for now.
Wow. Wow. Thanks so much. It's so insightful. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, I've even experienced some of the differences before, especially when it came to I mean, you go to the hospital, giving birth and all that. I've seen
Yeah.
how they do it over here, um, versus what's done back home, and
Yeah.
it's amazing
And I tell
anyway
you what,
how they do their things over here.
yeah,
It's
I tell you what, the same nurses back home, when they get here, they are different people because here the system will change you, whether you
okay.
like it or not. The nursing you do in Africa, you can't do it here. So they
Right.
will take you through a process for you to get adopted to the
Mm.
structure and the system here. So you see that they're the same nurses back in Africa doing what they are doing there. When they come here, they're entirely different because the
Okay.
system will change you. So yes,
Mm.
here the nursing is very, very, very different. You can't do anything anyhow because somebody somewhere is watching you. And here,
Mhm.
somebody can report you without you knowing you'll be reported. They are very
Yeah.
sneaky. You just go behind you. You are reported the next minute. You don't know you've been reported. So
Mm.
yeah, but with continuous practice, as I said, you will be
Mhm.
fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. So, what are your final words? What would you say to someone who is in the UK and is looking at, training as a nurse, want to change their profession and train as a nurse? What is your final words for such a person?
Well, I'll say that nursing is a noble profession, and the fact that you've got the privilege to impact lives and meet people, it's an honor for me personally.
Mm,
It's an honor for me to be a nurse. So I would encourage everybody who has the passion and the zeal to become a nurse that you shouldn't look back, you shouldn't relent. Don't look,
mhm.
even don't consider your age because listen, when I came to this UK, I've seen people who are above the age of 50 years and they are not pursuing nursing.
Well,
It's quite
mm,
interesting, yes. So if it's something that you are passionate about, don't give up, don't relent. You can do it. People have
mhm,
done it. You can also do it. If you want to do it immediately before you get your indefinite leave to remain, yes, you can. If you also want to wait to get indefinite leave to remain so that I can get a subsidy on your
mhm.
tuition, you can also
Right.
do that. But whatever path you choose, don't give up on your dream. One day you would appreciate yourself for taking that move. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. We've learned a lot today. I have learned a lot, and I hope that my viewers also have learned a lot from this, and especially for those who are looking at training to be nurses in the UK. This is something that you should really take to heart and learn from because it's a noble cause, I mean, it's a noble profession, as she has
Yeah.
said, and it's a good thing. I know that many of us we come here and we are sort of looking at continuing from where we left off back home, and it
Mhm.
takes a lot of time. Sometimes it may even look impossible. But since nursing is everywhere, as you said, I
Yeah.
believe that it's something worth considering. Yes,
Yeah.
something that you can really look into, getting into. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it would be fine. Yeah, so thank you very much, Rebecca. Can you tell us the name of your channel so that anyone who is interested in nursing
Yeah.
can you go there and check
Yeah.
out your
So
videos?
my channel name is Becca Bay TV. Becca, as it's showing on the screen, they add BAE and then
Mhm.
TV. That's my channel name, and I talk basically about nursing, life in the UK, lifestyle, vlog, travel, inspiration, every good stuff in between.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, viewers. It's been a wonderful time. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, kindly do subscribe, like, and share this video. So till we meet again, it's bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for
Thank,
having me.
thank you, Becca.